Why did you accept to be a jury member this year at Séries Mania?
It was clear that Séries Mania is bringing over so many wonderful, series to watch. And it would be wonderful to be a person who, gets this opportunity to just watch everything and do it with such wonderful people. We're such a nice group of people, interesting. We're watching the television shows together. We talk about them. We argue about them. That's a wonderful experience.
So what shows are you watching?
My favorite show is The Americans. I really love that show. I think The Americans works on so many different levels and so many different fronts. It's a period piece, so you have the whole Cold War thing going on. Russia, American, being loyal to a country. You really feel these are people in your life. They're your lovers, they're your family members, they're your husbands and wives, And that's what happens to me when I watch a thing like The American. I feel that I'm part of that family, that I'm with this couple and that I care about them, about their relationships and so on. Yeah.
So if you could spend one day in the TV series world, which one would you choose?
Well, this is something I've just done, so I'd spend time with John Crawford and Betty Davis in Feud. I'd want to be there with them, see them, fighting, be there with, the glamorous period of, Hollywood filmmaking. I'd spend the day in Mad Men just for the clothes, I'd want to wear John Hamm's suits and all the women's dresses as well. They're so amazing.
Is there a finale from a series that you still remember?
Well, the 6 Feet Under finale, when you see how all of them are going to die, that was very strong, I remember. In 2006, I decided to leave everything and just go live in this little village in the south of France. And one thing that I did is I decided to watch television shows I hadn't seen before. So I took with me all the episodes of Desperate Housewives and watched that on the one hand. And then on the other hand, saw all the seasons of 6 Feet Under. And so just sitting in this little house in a village called Valbonne, and every night going back to the DVD player and watching another episode, sometimes 2 or 3 episodes a night, that was such a meaningful experience. I mean, these people, the women in Desperate Housewives, the family in 6 Feet Under, were part of my life. When I think about this year, 2006, Valbonne, south of France, these were my friends. These were my family members, And that's such a strong experience that television provides you with, more friends, more family, more experiences. Yeah.
Is there a sex scene from a TV show that is still in your mind?
In the House of Cards, there was a scene between Kevin Spacey, Robin Wright, and their bodyguard. And there was this threesome that was very, delicate, interesting, kind of brought out the different nuances of their sexual identity, their sexual being. It was very challenging, both for audiences and for the characters. I remember that as being a strong experience.
Do you think that TV series are changing the way that we're representing gender and sexuality?
I think that just the fact that so many television series are made, and wonderful television, and a lot of different people and voices are being heard. So it isn't only the male gaze, or the man looking at a woman. There are women looking at men, there are men looking at men, women at women. So these many options create a world where there are different representations and different worlds that are being described, represented. It's an amazing world, the world of television worldwide now. Yeah.
And is there a cult television show or a vintage television show that you would recommend to younger people?
Of course. Anyone who hasn't seen The Sopranos, I'd say sit and watch The Sopranos from beginning to end. A television show that I really was so taken by when I was in high school was something called Brideshead Revisited. It's a mini-series based on a book, on an Evelyn Waugh book. It discovered Jeremy Irons to the world. He was a young actor who acted. It's a one. That's a show I'd say sit down, watch Brideshead Revisited.
But as a director, is there a TV series that changed the way that you want to do storytelling or the way that you want to film people and situations?
I think 30-something in many ways was very important for me as a storyteller and as a filmmaker, because it was so much, it was so real. It was so much about me and my world. And I felt, you know, this was someone who was talking about me. And so, like, I've been trying to keep it real and make things as close to myself as possible. Maybe if I'm as close and truthful to myself and my world, that will, you know, become relevant for other people. You know, if I really try to talk about my mother, my father, my friends, you know, if I do that authentically, that might feel authentic to people in Paris, for that matter, who have parents, have children, have families, and so on. Yeah.